Good morning. Good morning. What's happening, family? Welcome to the show this morning. It is Michelle Bryant here at WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. You are listening to Say Something Real. And
Either way, it's gonna be thank
So either way,
you would think it shouldn't be.
we was on a subject before, you know.
Yeah, yeah,
We still
yeah,
yeah.
Doc, you
I didn't even say anything.
didn't even mention
I
it because
just
I
let y'all have I just gotta let 'em go. You
guarantee
know.
you if you callers gonna wanna call in and talk
they
about
go
theirs.
call.
Yeah.
But nah, I don't even want to bring it up. It pissed me off.
Yeah, I ain't in too good of a mood now. I was having a good morning,
Here
man.
we go.
Pissed
Here
me
we
off.
go.
And you gonna call it one name, the main name.
Man, hurt my feelings.
So for people that are like, Michelle, what's going on? Why is Jermaine saying the P word?
Yeah.
What's happening?
Yeah.
Look,
I'm gonna say the P word too.
You know, pissivity. That's
I'm
what I'm
perturbed.
I'm
perturbed.
with pissivity.
you know, somebody mentions an invitation and everybody lose their mind. Now, it's not for me to talk about because this is not my situation. This is not my.
Well,
Yeah.
you obviously never experienced it.
Yeah, I ain't go to church enough to experience it.
Yeah.
Feelings.
But clearly, there's what people call it, church hurt.
Oh,
Church
yeah.
hurt. Yeah.
Church
No,
hurt.
that's a real diagnosis. You know?
Yeah, it should be if it
Is
ain't.
is it a real diagnosis?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
you could end up needing therapy
Yeah,
behind it.
like you can actually go to St. Joseph right now, and
they got that
IV and all type of stuff, and they'll
They have
diagnose
to
you
they have
with
to
church
they,
hurt.
they have to put an IV on you
They
and
put an
everything.
IV on you and everything.
know,
Diagnose you with church hurt.
Oxygen.
Well, I would just say
I'm
clearly,
telling you.
y'all should probably talk this through with somebody.
No.
Because the rawness. Oh no, because I sat here and listened to it.
I'll tell you what.
And y'all getting the nice version, listeners.
The person I need to talk to is dead and gone, so I need to go and dig them up and
Or
put
either
an
you
oxygen
die,
max on them.
either you die, and go down there with them.
No. We gonna bring them back here. Put an oxygen max on them.
Did
for
you
a
say
few.
go down there?
Oh
with
man, did you
them?
hear? Did you
Yeah,
catch it?
yeah.
No, we
Did
gonna go
you-
dig them up.
Did you literally
Yeah, yeah.
say down there?
Put an oxygen max on them, and I'm gonna tell them how I feel, and then I'm gonna unplug the
Yeah,
oxygen
y'all
and
need
put
to
them
work.
back.
Y'all got to work through all this, bro. Y'all got to work through it.
No.
So I'm gonna just say good morning.
Good morning.
And look, later, y'all, I may come back and be messy, but right now, I'm just because it's like sometimes you hear people
Yeah,
and you be like, stay out that.
yeah. No, seriously, yeah.
Stay out of that. That ain't got nothing to do
No,
with
but
it.
I'm
Got nothing to do with you.
not Michelle, tell me. You heard mine. And I could go on, but we had a little group of fellas. We were musicians and we played for the choir and we formed a little group and we decided we wanted to do Jesus is Love by the Commodores. And right after we got finished singing, the church mother gonna get up and say, if I wanted to hear the Commodores, I'd have stayed out in the world.
So why would you kill the young people's spirit like that? Now, they might not know all of the Jesus is on the main line songs that they sing.
Right, and they may not want to sing those.
And they might not want to sing that. But anything that's glorifying his name, you shouldn't have an issue with. So just because you heard it on the worldly radio, you figured it's worldly. So you that deep.
I figure if you could identify it, because it was a current song, then you must have been listening too.
But what I'm saying is, if you that deep that if a mosquito bites you, the mosquito gonna speak in tongues, then you need to go stand right next to Jesus right now, because that's how deep you is. But it makes no sense that you live in a world that worldly things happen, but you so deep and you kill the young people that's trying to find a pathway.
It takes me back to
It
like
pissed
when
me off.
the Winans first came out.
Yeah, man, they were saying, "Oh,
man,
that's
they
worldly
beat that
music."
group up. Man,
But
they beat them up.
What they don't understand is that music came out for that
Okay, Michelle,
era.
I see your face.
It was for that era.
What? I letting y'all get it off your chest.
Well, you said we needed therapy.
Yeah, letting y'all get it off your chest. I mean,
Well, here's the thing, though. To know that it happened to him, and I watched him. I remember when he was born, so it means it was still happening even after me.
Yeah, and
They continued to do that kind of stuff, and that's the stuff that I mean, listen, we had a singing one time. I told you I could tell some. We had a big old fundraiser singing. We were gonna put a sound studio in the church. It would have probably been the first sound studio that I would have known of in the city. That's the way we thought.
Yep.
The pastor took the money and decided to do something else with it. He wanted to pay the light bill or something. I don't know what he opted to do with it, but that wasn't the purpose of the fundraiser. So again, here you have it again. Church hurt.
Yeah. Now it's just the whole thing of people have and it's just with life. People have to be careful with how you treat kids that's coming up because again, and I'm just using my situation. What happened to me being at this one particular church, and I'm learning as I'm going along, and my dad is in the pulpit and they pushing us to learn. And you got people that would stand up on Friday nights and say, we need a musician. We praying that God send us a musician. And God is looking at them like, I placed you one right here.
He is right here.
That years down the line is going to be so dynamic. You have no clue who this guy is, but you're killing the seed that's planted.
Mm-hmm.
And Lord, we need a musician. Lord, we need a musician. So we up there trying to learn, and we hearing this as we trying to learn. Now, of course, we didn't say nothing then out of the respect of, being young and you don't talk to your elders.
And that crush your spirit, though.
That way, but it crushes you. So now here I am, years later, still talking about something that happened when I was 10 years old.
Right.
That affected me.
Right.
So then when I learned how to play, and when Elder Mills took me under his wings and said, you come play for me, paid me $35 a week at 12 years old. When I learned and they saw that I was learning, now I'm playing everywhere. Now they calling me, hey, Rido, can you come back and play? Why would I do that?
Right.
Like, you killed the seed. Like, why would I come back and give y'all something that I had developed into and y'all tried to kill it from birth? Y'all tried to cause an abortion. And they didn't even know it.
I'm so glad you wasn't aborted, my brother.
With that being said, Michelle, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah,
it's Tuesday.
I guess we didn't got it off our chest.
No, seriously. And I mean, thank you for allowing us to get that out.
But I will say this: if someone's listening, and you're working at a church or you're part of a church, you do prayer and Bible band or whatever it is that you do, just remember that church hurt is real, and be careful real. How you handle people. Yeah. I always say, you don't know what it took for me to get out of my house and come in here this morning.
Like, even
you don't know
now,
what I'm going through. So treat people like you want to be treated.
Man, listen, even now.
Because I remember when they would let her get up and speak, she wasn't that good.
Man, listen, at all. Michelle ain't nothing.
She wasn't Michelle.
At all. She
had to grow in grace.
Michelle,
I'm serious.
Michelle over here like the couch.
Yeah, we went straight to it this morning.
The couch.
She opened the door, we turned on the lights, and we could jump right on the couch.
No, but listen,
she wasn't that good though.
No, but
when they would give her an opportunity to speak, like, oh Lord, not her.
No, but seriously, and we was just saying, like, you got to be careful of how
Michelle is just tickle pink.
You gotta be careful.
I won't even put you on camera, Jermaine. I just got to keep it on her because she's just cracking up over here.
Because I know, seriously, man, I feel some kind of way. Like, I'm really in my feelings because I've been holding this in and I ain't had nobody to talk to for a long time.
So you didn't know that we experienced it, huh?
I had no clue you went through it.
Yeah, oh yeah.
See what I'm saying? So I've been
me, Jerry, Kobe, Chuck, Lloyd right out. Yeah, all your kinfolk, Ricky, Janelle, Randy, when them cats was trying to learn how to play and so forth, man. And people just rain on you, just with I'm sorry.
And they couldn't play a lick.
I'm a Hirsch.
Do nothing.
As the old folks say, I'm a Hirsch.
But other than that, Michelle, I'm doing pretty good. It's Tuesday.
Other than that,
I had to get that weight off me. Put that weight on me.
No,
and then I'll close with, I'm just glad you never had to experience it, Michelle.
No, seriously.
Grateful that you never had to experience it.
Because if I didn't know no better, I probably would have been an atheist.
Okay.
That's how bad it was.
Well, I mean, clearly this was cathartic.
Yeah.
To some extent.
But this conversation was very, very therapeutic for us.
No, seriously, it was.
I want to break it down.
What school you go to?
I want to break it down. Hey, I want to break it down for Greenfield.
Greenfield.
You want to bust it down.
Yeah,
but
green for new.
I think most people.
Well, don't use the big one. Use the big one.
There are too many words.
Well, so I guess I don't have to ask how y'all doing this morning.
I'm
I can
doing better now.
just probably move on.
Yeah. You got a
But
call.
but hopefully,
Oh, we probably somebody that's church hurt too.
Yeah, you got a call.
okay. Hopefully,
Could be somebody just want to pray for us.
in the
Bow your head right now.
Both of you brothers.
We gonna pray that hurt off you right now.
And if you come to our church,
and the lesson for the opening of this show this morning is hopefully, I think Debo, captured it well when he said, treat folks how you want to be treated.
Yeah.
But I think the sad part is some folks don't know how they want to be treated.
Yeah.
And
That's big right there.
that's deep.
Yeah,
it is. It was almost like, and she stole it from somebody else. But Keisha always say, they tell you it takes a village, and she said, but what if your village is messed up?
That part.
Now that was deep. But you gotta work through stuff. It's good. It's good that you have some place to bounce it around.
Yeah.
Get it off your chest.
So thank you, Michelle.
And hopefully there are people that are listening that are in these organizations that to the point that was made, the broader point, what you do to extinguish a light in a child, what you do to
that part.
turn people off, sour people, in some cases, like change the trajectory of their life because something that they were passionate about, you crap on it, you make people, believe they are not worthy, and people go do something different. So, while I was laughing, there was
we
real,
appreciate you really like trying to fix this.
I'm not because
but it's true.
Like
it's
they
real.
say, in every joke there's some truth. In laughter there's frequently pain. And it reminds me again of why I said when Raheem Islam was in the city, I didn't care for him, because I watched him do that to a young person at a meeting. Young brother wanted to contribute, had an idea, and he just reduced him to nothing.
That's crazy.
Shut him up, and basically he was the photographer in the room, and basically told him, just shoot pictures, bro, and stay in your lane.
Wow.
And I'm like, but you want us to put you over our children in terms of the school that they were starting over there in the building that was Webster Middle School. And I remember looking in that room full of all them black folks sitting in that room. And I'm like, did nobody else just see what I saw? Didn't know nobody, everybody riding with them. We boys, we, doing this. He up here sitting in this chair in the studio, giving out, soliloquies about parenting and fatherhood, cheating on his wife, baby over here. Like, I just was sitting there and I was just like, really? Don't nobody else see this? So, you do have to be careful what you say and how you talk to people. You try not to do harm. And too frequently people, Keisha always says, she quotes me back to me all the time. It's not what you say, it's how you say it. Because you're not ready to be the musician yet, but we're going to develop you and we're going to work with you. We need one in the interim, but we getting you ready so we can push that person out and keep it here in the family. It's how you do stuff all the time. And it's what makes the difference. And there are some people, they don't know that they nasty. They don't hear themselves, or that's all they've been around. And that's how everybody talk. Like I remember, and Carla had come, but I remember one of my friends, and we had to get to know them. But one of my friends, she was a relatively new friend, and I had brought my son over when I was going to visit her and her mom and her daughter. We was all sitting laughing, and her mother used to talk so rough. I mean, like bust your head to the white meat rough. And my son, when we left, my son said, what kind of people are those? Like, who is these? These people is rough, like, because we don't talk like that in our house.
Right.
And and I had to tell her that I was teasing her. I said, "Yeah, my baby was scared when he came over here. Like, wow, these people is this like some, my son. He was like, this is some project mess. What's going on over here? So but then we got to know her, and that's just her way. She was funny as all get out. But there are some people, it's not humor. Right. That's really how you engage. Like when we say, you hear people cussing at their kids and calling them a little MFer and blah, blah, blah. And you talk to your baby like that? No way. You even talk around your baby like that. So yeah, people don't realize the damage that can be done. So I think that it was important on some level that the conversation was had, particularly from people that are in these institutions. Because see, it's one thing for me to be on the outside and throw rocks in, because this not my arena. Like, when people start talking church stuff, I go sit down.
Well, you got quiet. That you did.
Because it ain't my lane, because all I had to do was see it was one time. And I was, I was like, hey, did we just make the 14-year-old girl stand up in front of the whole church and apologize for getting pregnant?
That part.
Did we just do that? Y'all thought this was okay to make a child stand up? And I was a kid myself. And I was like, so y'all thought it was okay in this church to make this girl stand up here and apologize to you Negroes because she got pregnant?
And you niggas is human. And y'all sin every day. And you ask God to forgive you. Yeah, I said it. For the simple fact that, because I ain't gonna say
you need counseling.
I ain't gonna say the name of these churches, but these pastors,
there's a lot of folks need work.
Yeah,
and they forget that.
Yeah, let's word it like that.
Yeah, it's and people forget that. They forget that. And I remember, I think I might have been 12 when I saw this, and I literally, I looked at my mama like, are y'all serious right now? And my mother smiled like she's like, oh yeah, they didn't set her off. I'm just like, because the boy go to our church too.
But he didn't have to get up.
He didn't have to get up.
Right.
He ain't have to, and wasn't nobody looking for him, wasn't nobody checking for him. I'm looking at his mom and daddy like, we all know it's your son. But they made her apologize. And I told my mom, I said, you already know that ain't never gonna happen if it's me. And I had 10 kids up in this joint. I ain't never said up in front of no church, apologizing to none of these people. Man. And I was like, y'all do know we know what go on in this church, right? We do see y'all business. Man. People, all these mothers do gossip up in this joint. Man. Who is this sister sitting on the second row behind the pastor's wife, rocking a baby? Yeah. That looked just like the pastor.
It looked like the pastor's
y'all
baby
need
picture.
To stop playing. Yeah. So, and let's be clear. Not all churches is raggedy. Not all pastors is raggedy. Not all members is raggedy. But raggedy is in everything.
Oh, yeah.
I don't care where you are, who you are, what you do. It's raggedy in me. It's
Not
raggedy
my church.
in our house. It's raggedy everywhere.
Not my church.
Oh, yeah, okay. But, I think the thing that somebody told me, and it might have been Lena, because Lena has always been a very religious, spiritual person, Judge Taylor. And, I would get on my moments, but I was like, man, I came with y'all and these church people. And Lena would always kind of remind me, like, you know what, Michelle, you got to remember why you show up. Yeah. And you can't let these people stop you from your relationship. Yeah. And I used to smile and I got you. I ain't going, but I got you. I hear you. I'm going to do it at the house. But, it is important, I think, that people, and I remember one time telling a pastor, and I've said this on the air before, I'll never come to your church. And he was like, huh? I said, you got some of the rudest people I've ever seen in my life. Sure. They was rude at the door. Yeah. And he was just like, huh? And because the pastor himself, cool as all get out. I'm like, you don't know how your members act, do you? Yeah. But nah, bro, you treated me like I was homeless. Yeah. I'm like, I'm just asking for some help. Excuse me. Can you help me get something to somebody? And people were so rude. Yeah. And me and him talked about it several times because it really bothered him that I said that. But I was like, that was at the front door. That was at the front door.
So when you first come in,
dressed to the nines, all sisters, and nasty and stank as could be. I was like, bro, you ain't got to never.
Even though you guys hear me crack jokes about it, even but that the church that I always reference with the Chum Chat Chin,
Mm-hmm.
they were beautiful people. They were welcoming. Thank you for coming. Come back again. I knew what she was trying to say,
Right.
but it was the point that they even said, come back again.
Right.
So yeah, I appreciated it.
No, it makes a difference. It makes a difference. And I just tell people, whether we like it or not, folks watching, they judging, they paying attention, they making determinations about, who they're gonna mess with, who they're gonna be engaged with. And it's people don't realize you didn't have to say a word. I watched you and I decided this is not for me.
Yep.
So I think it was some value. And
They always say action speaks louder.
I'm glad y'all got that.
Well, I feel better.
You still got that
Yeah.
caller?
No, they gone.
No,
they
they
got
gone.
sick of
Okay.
holding.
I feel better though.
But it's okay. Hopefully, people will call back. Somebody said, "Good morning, Michelle. Church hurt is a real thing. I have definitely experienced it. I'm not gonna deny it.
It's
I
real.
don't know if it's in the medical
Yeah.
terminology,
It's
but
called
I'll give it to you.
Here
in
you
the
go.
medical terminology.
It's called "Let's Go to Break."
It's called.
It's
You better say-
it's
I was-
called it's
I was
called
gonna
"Holla at
do
Me
it.
Later."
I was gonna do it, but I ain't gonna do it. It's called break time. That's what it's called. You got to break yourself. And
I almost said it. I almost said the whole thing. Oh my god.
Yeah, but
Somebody said good morning. Appropriate song. Sometimes you have to encourage yourself.
some
And they
Yeah,
literally
speak
said
over
sing it
yourself.
right out.
you thank you have to turn to Tom Jones real quick. Sometime thank you. You have to you gotta close your eyes when you do it.
Speak over yourself.
Got to encourage yourself. Thank you.
Really, Jermaine?
Sometimes you.
Who are you thanking?
Oh
His
yeah.
imaginary audience.
I have to speak victory. Thank you. During your time.
He hear roars. He hear crowd roaring.
Yeah, Taylor Swift Beyonce.
No matter
He
how.
think he had
Thank you. Encourage
if you don't stop.
So my Sarah who just kicked that up. No more messages from you. All right, y'all. Let me take a break.
Thank you.
These Negroes they ate up my whole purse. And again, what I say last time, when they be doing the church, how you gonna be messed up and say, could y'all stop? Could y'all stop? But are you crazy?
You gotta be like, thank you.
In the back. I see you. Row 17.
God bless
Section
you.
E. I see you.
Thank you.
All right,
Is it
y'all.
offering time?
Yeah. On the song, the Sermonic Solo. Amen. Now it's time that we all can participate.
I am so. Somebody said yes, Tom Jones.
Thank you. Unusual to be loved.
You've been
know what?
practicing that, ain't you?
No, I just felt that thing in my spirit.
Look, you remember when Tom Jones and Jennifer Hudson was on what is that show? The Voice or some mess
The
together.
Voice.
And Tom Jones was sitting there, all like stately, like I'm Tom Jones, I'm the legend.
Yeah.
And they saying it's a man's world. Now, mind you, Tom Jones got that because he got that voice. When I tell you Jennifer Hudson walked that flow on his head,
Yeah, I
and
can
Tom had to sit back I'm like, now you may sound like you black,
but you can't.
but this chick,
She got soul,
yeah. And I mean, you good.
but you ain't got soul.
Oh, he had to sit back in deference.
Yeah.
Like, oh no, she done showed out.
Yeah.
All right, y'all, we're gonna take a break. When we
Thank
come
you.
back, offering will be collected, and then we will get on with the ministry this morning. I was sick of you. Michelle Bryan, WNOV.
Thank you.
Home first segment. Just gone. I'm glad I'll be having no show playing.
Unusual to be loved.
We'll be right back,
Thank
y'all.
you.
family. Welcome back. So let me do this a couple of things. First of all, today marks the 2 year anniversary of the attacks in relationship to Gaza and the 1,200 people that were killed in their attack on Israeli concert goers and individuals that were kidnapped. An estimated 250 people kidnapped. I think the numbers were roughly around 40 to 50 people are still unaccounted for or still being held. Of that 40 to 50, they believe that only 20 may still be alive, and that the bodies of the other hostages are being, detained, have not been released to the families. And it is also in the midst of negotiations about how to uh, have this truce, if you will, between Israel and Gaza to figure out a way forward. The thing that I think a lot of people are paying attention to is that, and on both sides of this conversation, um, I would love to go back and hindsight being what it is and talk to the folks who planned the attack on the Gaza side of things to say, so given what we know today, would you have still done it this way? Understanding that, and like I said, they stopped putting the numbers out. We were getting regular numbers, 25,000 dead, 30,000 dead, 35,000 dead. Now we just get tens of thousands because we don't even have an official count anymore, or one that's been released to the public about how many Palestinians have died. And many of them women and children, although, I don't put any more premium on their life than I do a man's life. That's how we always appeal to people's humanity as we talk about children and women or children and the elderly. But I have a son. His life is just as important as anybody else's. And I would love to be able to go back and say, so if you could see 2 years down the road, is this the strategy that you would employ to make your opposition to Israel known, and the way you believe things are happening and the treatment that you believe people are receiving? Is this the best route? Because Israel's response was catastrophic. These people, in terms of their infrastructure, damn near wiped off the face of the earth. What it will take to rebuild anywhere, where do they even go? The losses, it's just staggering. It is staggering to look at. And I've watched the videos and the pleas from both Israelis, and Palestinians, like, okay, enough with the fighting. We just need everybody to be okay. Live and let live. Let these people, have what they need. Let us have what we need. How do we figure out how to coexist? And that is indicative of a broader general conversation. Right here in our own country, we are not figuring out how to coexist. There are all of these bumper stickers that back in the day you would see around town, and they would be they spell out the word coexist, and it was diverse the way they would even do the spelling of the word, because it talked about different races, different cultures, and everybody living in the same, space, and having to figure out, how do we coexist? How do I get to live my life and value the things that I do and not infringe upon your right and your ability to do the same thing for you, and you not infringe upon mine? How do we respectfully disagree? How do we respectfully welcome people into our spaces? And when we understand that it's not our space, we all on borrowed time. There are very few people that can, when people stand up beating their chests about this, my country, everybody that came here via some different route. There were only a certain group of people that was here just before the rest of us showed up. So I wanted to just acknowledge that 2-year anniversary. Again, the loss of life in this whole thing is staggering. I think Benjamin Netanyahu is a freaking criminal. He is a war criminal. He's a criminal. I don't think that it's inappropriate to use the word genocide when it comes to what's been done to the Palestinian people. There's no way the whole world should have watched Israel destroy Palestine in the way that they did. I believe, you protect your people. I believe that you retaliate. But I keep saying, and I've said before, it is an error in judgment to think that you can kill your way out of this problem. Another generation of people will. Did you hear the conversation we had this morning? People recounting what happened that they witnessed as children, and it's still bothering them today as adults with their own children and grandchildren. So the children of Palestine will not forget what they saw happen to their people. You are not going to extinguish an entire group of people. You will always put yourself in a situation of uncertainty and being unsafe when you don't handle people appropriately. Respond, but you don't have to fully destroy and decimate. And that's what's happened. When I say there are lessons to be learned from Gaza and the fighting between Hamas and Palestine, Hamas and Israel, and we got those lessons right here in our own country. Let me play something for you guys. Okay, I'm ready, Jay.
Arrival of federalized National Guard troops in Chicago, just plain federal agents in Chicago, from ICE, from CBP, from the FBI, from other agencies. They've been treating the city like it's Fallujah 2004 or something. This is from the Chicago Sun-Times. Quote, armed federal agents in military fatigues busted down their doors overnight, pulling men, women, and children from their apartments in Chicago, some of them naked. Residents and witnesses said agents approached or entered nearly every apartment in this 5-story building. U.S. citizens were among those detained for hours. The next day, toys, shoes, and food were still in piles in the building's hallways. Property managers were seen throwing mattresses and broken doors into dumpsters. Neighbors said federal agents used flashbang grenades to burst through the building, and several drones and helicopters were deployed. One woman who lives across the street said it looked like hundreds of agents were outside her door. She said she saw agents dragging residents, including kids, out of the building without any clothes on and into U-Haul vans. Kids.
Hang on. I'm going to let this, because I'm playing it from a video online. Give me 1 second because the ad is running. But if you are wondering, Michelle, what are you talking about? This is something that just took place in Chicago within the last several days, and it has been talked about, national headlines, and the story is going to pick up right here.
Were separated from their mothers. This is from the Associated Press. Agents used unmarked trucks and a helicopter to surround this 5-story apartment building in Chicago. News Nation, which was invited to observe the operation, reported that agents, quote, repelled from Black Hawk helicopters. Agents then went door to door, woke up residents, and used zip ties to restrain them. Again, keep in mind, this is before the military gets there. This is just what Trump's federal agents are doing in Chicago. Calling in the Black Hawk helicopters to raid a residential apartment building. And then zip tying all the kids and the old people and breaking down all the doors and ransacking all the apartments. I mean, this is what they're doing to the American people in Chicago already before they send in federal troops. This is just federal agents. Trump is trying to deploy federalized National Guard to Chicago against the wishes of the mayor and the governor. Again, we're going to talk with Governor Pritzker about the lawsuit that he's brought to try to stop that deployment when we speak with him in just a moment. Another lawsuit has been brought by a group of journalists and Chicago residents to try to stop federal agents in Chicago from infringing on people's rights to protest and on journalists' right to report on protests. As part of that lawsuit, the plaintiffs included some video exhibits about how federal agents have been behaving in Chicago already. Again, before troops even get there. I want to show you two of those video exhibits that have been filed as part of this lawsuit. I'm going to show you two of them that depict attacks by Trump's federal agents on a priest, on a minister. Here's the first one. This is just about 20 seconds. Watch.
Sorry. And so what is happening, because like I said, I'm using video, is that you literally see federal troops using flashbangs. This person clearly is a priest, and they are pushing people to the ground. They have been violently engaging journalists, and you can tell that these people are journalists. Let's pick it up. So this priest, they are pepper spraying him and shoving him to the ground. And literally, they have on like a gas mask, if you will, to stop them from being impacted.
You see them spray the minister in the face with chemical spray of some kind. He falls to his knees. In this next exhibit from the lawsuit, you will see Trump's agents shoot the minister with some kind of less than lethal munition. They shoot him in the head. This is about 15 seconds long. You'll see the minister praying. He's standing alone. At the beginning of the tape here, he's standing, praying with his hands raised. Watch.
And so literally, this guy is standing how we hold our hands up and like they're praying, and there are federal agents up on the top of a building, and they shoot down and they shoot the man in the head.
He's a priest. He's a Presbyterian minister.
So I wanted to share that information that was taken from the Rachel Maddow show over at MSNBC.
Ahead of the expected arrival.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. And right now, if you are watching, any kind of national news, I don't know that I'm seeing enough of it on the local show, but any kind of national news, and you see what's going on in Chicago, and kudos to Mayor Brandon Johnson and Governor Pritzker, who are fighting back. But I got video and I got calls from people I know in Chicago who said, "Are y'all talking about this in Milwaukee?" And, I'm like, what's going on? And they literally talked about people coming in and pulling kids out of their houses, breaking the front doors down on apartment doors on buildings, breaking the doors down, people in their night clothes because it's nighttime. Some people sleep in the buff. People were being brought outside naked, y'all. Brought into the hallways naked. Little 11, 7, 8-year-old kids were being zip tied to each other and made to sit in the hallway. And like everybody that lived in this building, not an immigrant, American citizens, they literally took the doors off the hinges and dropped down out of helicopters like they was dropping down in Afghanistan somewhere. Right up the street. We all, nestle down in our bed, slumber, have no idea that right up the street, the Trump administration is deploying these kinds of tactics. And what did they say? We are going after the cartels, the worst of the worst, the most disgusting people. But you got babies in zip ties. You want to say something, Jay?
Yeah, I saw a video. I'm going to send it to you. I'm going to find it and send it to you. It was a young lady in Chicago. It was a black lady. And she was in the building. She said that they came and put everybody in custody, came around the corner with the kids in zip ties, and the the young lady asked the officer why they doing it to the kids. Officer responded, "F them kids."
Yeah, that made the news. That actually made the news.
Yeah, said "F them kids,"
Yep.
and walked them out in zip ties. They was crying, and they held the American citizens for hours, and they finally let them go. I think she said like 3 something in the morning.
Yeah,
3,
but
4
you
o'clock
done
in the
tore the
morning.
door off their
Yeah,
apartments. You done ransacked their homes.
and there ain't no telling if
And
they
I
stole
hate to
stuff
say it,
from
but
them.
many of these soldiers are white soldiers.
Yeah,
Look like some racist hillbillies
yeah.
that they have, and I'm saying soldiers, I should be saying agents. These are ICE agents. They're not soldiers. But the way these people come in dressed, you would think they just got done with a tour of duty in Iraq. This is happening on American soil. And Donald Trump is trying to do everything he can to get around rulings from the courts who have said, because in Portland, the judge in Portland said, no, you cannot use their troops. You can't call it the National Guard to go in against this city. In Chicago, another judge was not willing to put a stay on it. And so they challenged them, and another judge came in and said, now, wait a minute. So you have all of this happening. Like, please tell me, Republicans who voted for Donald Trump, that this is what you thought was going to happen and you are okay with it. Because everybody's getting caught up in this. And it's not the worst of the worst. It's not the murderers, the rapists, the child pedophiles, the gang members that they sold you on. These are just everyday people who were looking for a different and a better way of life, that may be living amongst us here in this country, going to work every day, not bothering nobody. But to treat children in this way. Let me go to the phone line real quick. Hey, caller, what's happening? Hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you this morning?
I'm well. I'm sitting here listening to y'all on this radio about this building that's in Chicago. Well, I'm born and raised here in Chicago, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the part that y'all seeing is the parts that's controlled by social media. Y'all not seeing the fact that these Venezuelans have moved into a area that's already a high property crime area, dealing with the things that's associated with Chicago, and they also have brought more turmoil to the city.
So you think that should result in Black Hawk helicopters flying over y'all buildings and people jumping out of the helicopters and detaining children and putting them in zip ties? You think that justifies that?
Unfortunately, it hasn't been no kids in zip ties.
That's not true. Yes, it has, bro. They have shown the pictures of it.
Listen. You got to do your homework, dude. Like y'all looking at it from a point of view of emotions. Y'all not looking at the part that now that these kids that live in that area, now that they safe again. Like it's always going to be certain casualties.
You know what? No.
But when you have a government that have allowed illegal immigrants to come and take over, and then when you have people that's living in the community that's also upset about it, and when Trump deployed those guys, that was needed.
No, it was not, fam. I'm sorry. It was not. You do not need federal agents jumping out of helicopters to come in and deal with an apartment building. And you got to go through and take everybody's doors off, pull people out undressed. There is a way. Y'all have law enforcement. And this is the thing I caution people in our community about all the time, because we've had really bad crime in our own communities, and people, you turn over all your rights, all your freedoms in the name of getting rid of crime. There is a way to do this. And I'm not saying you don't do anything, but there is a way to do it that you do not cause more harm. These people are causing harm.
Who do you think caused more harm? The ICE, the federal agents, or the immigrants?
Yeah, look, I don't know. I don't know, because you haven't been able to demonstrate to me what these children have done. what some of these people in this building have done.
We haven't seen that one child in handcuffs.
That's not true, fam. These
That's not
people
true.
are not. There are
In Chicago. Listen to me. On Chicago media, we have not seen that one child handcuffed.
Okay.
Y'all only
I'm
seen
gonna
it
have
on
somebody
social
from
media.
Chicago media on my show tomorrow, and we'll be talking about this. But one of the things that I'm going to continue to say is that you do not have to rise to this level of force to deal with whatever is going on in Chicago.
Hey, listen. That was needed. That was needed.
Well,
You may
okay,
not
and you
see
are
it as
certainly
that.
entitled to
The
your
same way-
opinion,
the
but
same-
no, you cannot trample all over my
listen.
rights because you try to deal with some Venezuelans. Because there
Listen,
were
the same-
American citizens that got caught up in that. There were American children, women, adults, working people that live in that building that got caught up in that and got put
they
in
was tired of
U-Hauls
the
and
Venezuelans
drug
as
out of their
well.
homes. So, well,
They
you
was
know
tired
what?
of the
Until it happened to you, fam, until somebody trample all over your rights because they trying to get the Venezuelan 2 doors down from you, then we can have this conversation. We can't have this conversation when it's not you being impacted because they trampled all over other people's rights trying to go after somebody else. You can't smack me around and put me in zip ties because you're trying to get to the dude 2 doors down from me.
Listen, so this is what I want you to do. Since you're in media, I need you to go there and interview some people after it's over. That's what I want you to do, and then you will see the reason of what it was for, and you will see it for first hand.
I'm never gonna agree
You just
with
can't
giving
go
up
off.
my
You just
rights.
can't go off what
No.
media does.
I'm
Media
just
is
gonna tell you,
controlled. So what's out here is control.
it does not rise to this. It does not rise to this level. It does not. You cannot tell me it's okay to deploy military agents and military troops on American soil to deal with some damn Venezuelan gang members. You just can't make me believe that. It's enough police departments that are militarized on their own with the equipment that they have and the capabilities that they have to efficiently deal with this. You just can't make me believe it.
Did you see how the people? Do you see in Humble Park how them boys was chasing them ICE people up out of there? That's how the police get chased up out of there every day.
You know what?
Like, have you ever been to Chicago and seen, like, have you ever been to the Cabrini Green area, the Harry Hornets, that's on Sedgwick? Have you ever been to O Block? No, you have not. I'm born and raised in Chicago, so I'm telling you.
Don't tell me what I haven't done.
Right,
because
that
there's a
part.
bunch of my folks used to live in Cabrini Green and Robert Taylor
Look,
Homes
you
when they
just
was
go
up. I
by
used to go
hearsay.
over there.
Like,
I know it was bad. But again, fam, you do not let the military come in and take care of what is a regular law enforcement situation. He didn't send them to D.C. when they was tearing up the U.S. Capitol. How you send them to Chicago?
Wait.
You know, that was subliminal. You know what I'm saying?
What was subliminal? What was subliminal?
When they raided the Washington D.C.
You know what? I've had a great time talking to you. You have a good day, fam. Because at this point, you on some nonsense.
Well, real quick, because I'm
nonsense.
gonna push the button. But I want to ask you, brother, why didn't Trump send the people in for O Block when they was down there clowning in?
They had the feds over there.
Nah, bro, stop it.
Feds over there.
Man,
they didn't send.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, like, you got to be able to understand a plant when you hear a plant.
Man, this cat is.
You know, because you can talk about what went on January 6th, with the rioters and the insurrectionists in D.C., and that's subliminal. You know, all of a sudden, don't believe what everybody saw on television. Don't believe it. Don't believe it. Even the legislators who now got amnesia about how terrified they were and being told where their gas masks were and hiding on the floor and running in the corridors trying to get away from these ignorant mobs that was up in D.C. But he gonna, and it's a black man. See, that's the other sad and frustrating part about this, because it's a brother coming on Black Talk Radio asking us to say, we, accept it, y'all. Allow these people to trample on your rights, bring in the military, and because we need to deal with the Venezuelan gangs. Just accept it. What did I say? We started letting them do roll call in our neighborhood, looking like some damn Chinese military regiment, or we gonna, intimidate the community, show y'all we here. Don't bring that BS to my neighborhood. Don't bring it to my neighborhood. And you are literally asking people to allow folks to trample on everybody's rights because you're trying to go after a few people. But you don't even know specifically who you're going after. You just opening up everybody's door, kicking in doors, taking doors off the hinges, tearing these people's belongings up because you looking for anybody that might be Hispanic, Latino, and in the country illegally. So everybody that lives in a 5-story apartment building gets treated the exact same way, and you don't even know who you're looking for. But you're going to sit here and chuckle and say, what happened in D.C. was subliminal.
Yeah, that's Toby right there. Toby be a good boy. That's Toby.
You know, and it's just what it is. It is so sad on one level that people are willing to carry water in this way, or that you do not realize the harm that's being exacted upon communities. That you literally would try to tell people the whole rest of the city is lying. Everybody that went through it is lying. The national media, because that's what they want you to do too. That's what Donald Trump did. And when he went all the way back to the first term, and that child Kellyanne Conway talking about alternative facts. No, it's not an alternative fact. It's you trying to rewrite history to suit your purposes, or you outright lying and getting caught in a lie. That's why I said a bunch of this is nonsense. All these American flag waving, I love this country. I love and back the blue, but you didn't give nay damn about this country and back in the blue on January 6th. And then when Donald Trump comes in and pardons all these people, give a $5 million settlement or something like that. I think the amount was undisclosed, but I thought it was like $5 million. To the family of that white girl who kicked in that door in the Capitol and got shot by that black security officer or police officer. How you commit a crime and get $5 million? Only white people. How do you break into a locked door in the United States Capitol and your family gets a settlement from the Department of Justice? And if Trump could have figured out how to hang that black officer that shot that girl, he would have did it. And then you got a brother calling in here. Let me get these last couple of calls before I get my guests. Hey, caller, what's happening?
Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning. Good morning.
I was calling in about something else, but since
okay, your phone is really like jacked up. What's going on?
Can you hear me?
Try. Okay, go ahead. Try it.
Okay. I was calling in about something else, but your last caller was so misinformed, I couldn't let it go. If we were to ignore the media, then that meant that the media would have ignored us back in the 60s when we were getting forced with water hoses, because that wasn't a national issue until it played out on television.
Right.
So that's the other thing. So you can't say not trust the media about what's going on when it's sitting right there in your face. The other part of this is the apartheid playbook playing out in front of our faces. When you see people going into homes and being snatched out of their beds, and, we don't know who we're looking for, but we're looking for somebody. Yeah, no. Ask the people who lived through apartheid what happened in their neighborhoods at night when they were afraid to go to sleep and had raids every night. Go back and look at Winnie Mandela and how she lived in trauma when her husband was in prison for 27 years. So it's not like it's far-fetched for it to happen on American soil either. So just because it's not happening to you doesn't mean that it wasn't real and that it's not happening to these people. And I think that's something that we have to look at. This has happened before. People have ignored it before until it became visual and you realize what was happening. When Angela Davis talks about growing up in Birmingham and bombs going off every night and people's houses being burned up, people lived that. That was real. There are witnesses that still can talk about that today. So you're seeing that play out on live television right now, but you want somebody to ignore that. So I think, like you said, it's a slippery slope when you have people that say, oh, that doesn't matter. We're looking for gang members. It ain't that many gang members in the United States for you to have this type of enforcement going on in our country.
And again, and thank you for the call. I appreciate. I'm up against a break. But also, to the point that you want to deny, like you the only person in the world that's the authority on what's going on in Chicago, when there are videos out there to support everything that people are saying, right down to what the governor and the mayor of Chicago have provided. So photos of the aftermath just show how the doors were gone and removed, children's toys, shoes littering the apartment hallways, everything that was left in the chaos. People were literally being pulled out of their bed by this operation that was dubbed, what was the name of it? Because I actually even saw the name of the Operation Midway Blitz.
Mm.
And so, yeah, like, no, we're not going to sit here and have this brother call in and try to tell people, like, don't believe none of that. None of that happened. Like, fam, stop it. But thank you.
It was the same thing that happened in LA when they used to have those operations where they brought battering rams looking for crack. 39th and Dalton, LA, back in the 80s. I'm telling you, it's real.
And let's just say that again, looking for crack. We got
Looking for
battering
crack.
rams,
To
buzzing
look
doors
for,
down,
right.
looking just randomly. We looking for crack.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they tore them people's house up.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then, like, who's going to pay for all of this damage?
Exactly.
Because I remember going to a home here in which and this was years ago, but the police had went to the wrong house looking for a drug dealer. They kicked in, tore this woman's door off the frame. I was a social worker at the time, and I went to her house to go check on why her children hadn't been to school. I get to the house. It was right over here off of 35th Street before you go down that hill getting by Valit. I go to her house, and I swear to God, because I'm so used to going to people's houses, instinctively putting my hand up to knock on the door, I knocked, and my hand went into the door because I wasn't paying attention. She had a black blanket up at her door. And I like moved the blanket. I said, hello? Lady came. I said, ma'am, where's your door? She says the police kicked in the wrong door, thinking they was doing a drug raid, and they tore the door off the hinges. And I said, well, who gonna fix it? She said the landlord is like, he's not fixing it. He didn't tear it up. And so I said, ma'am, how long have you not had a door? She said, for 3 days now. So
Lord
nobody's leaving the house because you scared to leave the house because you don't have no way to secure your house. And she didn't have money to buy her own door. So when this guy sits up here and calls in like, oh, this ain't nothing, it's necessary, it's needed. No, don't. Okay, I gotta go. Thank you, Dr. Myers. I appreciate the call.
I'll send you the other information, but yes.
All right, thank you. All
Okay.
right, family. Look, I gotta take a commercial break. I got guests waiting to come into the studio, so I want to be respectful of their time. We're gonna try to get in whatever we can today. I'll follow up tomorrow, but I need people to understand what's happening because this man, meaning Donald Trump and Stephen Miller, with his racist crazy behind, they are now trying to, and they've been saying it for the last couple of days, insurrection, 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 because that would give Donald Trump the ability to usurp what's being done with the courts and still send American military, not just National Guard, military onto American soil in these primarily and predominantly Democratic cities in Black and brown communities and be able to use the military force to be able to mess with people. I'll be right back, y'all. All right, family, welcome back to the show. So let me switch gears for a little bit this morning. I have two guests in the studio that are here to talk about something that is near and dear to a lot of the listeners in our audience. We talk frequently about the issues of health and health disparities and understanding how members of the Black community are impacted when it comes to all kinds of situations, cancer being one of those in relationship to I'm just thinking disparities in our outcomes. We typically can have worse outcomes. Diagnoses come much later. Death rates, unfortunately, are higher, and twice as impacted by many of the challenges that can be connected with various types of cancer. So I had an opportunity to meet a young sister, actually going back to Juneteenth, and there was conversation, and she reached out because she was saying, hey, working with a group and some really important things are being done, would like to be able to come on the show and talk about it. And I'm like, okay, I got you. And then she hit me again, hey, need to be able to come have a conversation about something we're trying to do for our community. I got you, I'm coming. Then I'm going to, hey, if you don't call me back right now. So let me welcome the fighter extraordinaire to the studio. How you doing this morning, sis?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Introduce yourself to people, Trouble.
Good morning. My name is Denise Smith. I am co-producer of Common Threads for Cancer Awareness Fashion Show. I am here with my co-producer.
Hey, everybody. My name is Nicole Mukes.
Hey, Nicole.
Hey
And
there.
so, Denise, this was something that you were very like, look, we got to make sure people are aware of this. I guess the first thing I got to find out, though, before I figure out how you get engaged. So, is this a benefit concert, and is it what's the personal or is there a personal connection to this whole event about raising awareness around cancer?
Okay, well, firstly, it's a fashion show. It's not a concert.
Oh, and I'm sorry, I didn't say fashion show. I apologize.
It's okay. I said
Okay.
show, so concert. So I lost an aunt to bone cancer, and another one of my aunts beat breast cancer a few years ago.
Okay.
And so yes, the cause is personal to my heart, but also I am a international runway and print model. And so with my co-producer, we decided that we're models, we can produce a fashion show. We've been in enough fashion shows to know we know how things go, so it can be a benefit show.
Okay. And Nicole?
So for me, it's even deeper than that. So 10 years ago, my mother died from pancreatic cancer.
Yeah.
And my mom loved fashion. I'm also a plus model in the city. And so I figured out, let's figure out how to put it together. But also in this, I just been kind of paying attention to the number of people who are posting about a family member, a friend, someone they know dealing with cancer. And so I realized that cancer is a common thread, hence the name, also the play on, fashion. So it's called Common Threads for Fashion, right? Common Threads for Cancer Awareness,
Right.
fashion show. And I feel like in the times that we're in now, we're always focused on the wrong things. We're focused on somebody's size, the way somebody looks, somebody's job, somebody's religion, somebody's race, culture, whatever it is. But when in fact, cancer does not discriminate. Cancer does not care. I remember sitting in the room with my mom when she took her only chemo session. Then in that room, I saw Indian people, Black people, white people, children, elderly people, Asian people in that room. And so we need to come in and stop, looking at our differences, but look at this common thread that is killing all of our communities, especially the Black community. So I came up with this. Well, God gave me this because I could not have even done this. So Denise been riding with me from day one when I presented to her. And this actually started before the pandemic, and then the pandemic hit. So we paused.
Okay.
And then, I allowed fear and doubt to hinder me.
And then
But
that's where I
this
came
year-
in and
Yep,
said,
and
let's
then-
go. Let's go.
So,
Come on, let's
yeah.
do it. Let's
So
move
my
forward.
team has been really pushing me to let it, that we have to do it. Because it is a common thread. Every single day I see at least 10 people at least 10 people on my feed say something about somebody dealing with cancer. So
I-
we got to talk about it.
I definitely have, and you're right. I, pay attention when I can to social media, and you see people ringing the bell.
Mhm.
I was just talking about. I remember nephew Tommy ringing the bell.
Yep.
Some of my sorority sisters have talked about that journey. Another sorority sister who had cut her hair, as a result of chemo and all that.
Mhm.
Now her bob is back. So you do see that side of it, but you also understand that I see those in memory of posts.
Yes.
Right.
And it was one of those things, I think, in the Black community when we talked about what we died from,
Mhm.
and you hear somebody say pancreatic cancer. Well, Black folks like pancreatic cancer. Well, look at that. Like I won't necessarily say the naivete, but because people didn't talk about a lot of
Correct.
things,
Right.
or you would just hear cancer.
Right.
Mhm.
It
You would
wouldn't be
never
a
hear
specific
the specific
type.
type.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That would make people begin to understand all the different varieties and ways in which
Mhm.
you can have cancer and be impacted. So first of all, kudos to you. What an incredible way to honor your family's memories and legacy. So are you working like with the Milwaukee Medical College or any
Yes.
groups? How does this
So I'm
happen?
working with the Milwaukee Medical College. They're gonna actually, they are sponsors.
Okay.
So they're helping us with some things. I'm also working with Big Frank.
Okay.
So I don't know which name he prefers. So he's gonna be there. He's gonna be one
Okay.
of our guests. Jamila Kearney is our host.
Okay.
So then we have El Renee is gonna be part of doing some stuff for our VIP. So we have some, I think we have some pretty good things going on, and I'm super excited, about it.
So like now tell me though, in terms, because like now, fashion, now you up my
Mhm.
alley. I was just looking at some pictures from Paris. There's a group called Actively Black and another group that they were in Paris this past 2 weeks,
Mhm.
and they were showing runway models. And
Mhm.
oh my God, Lord, people just so talented, the clothes that they make.
I know, right?
And so
Yes.
when I think about fashion, the first thing I'm asking is, well, who the artists?
Okay.
Where's the clothes coming from?
So
All
we
right,
have local
so-
designers in the city. We'll start off with Deborah Render of Gigi's Collection.
Oh, I
She's
know
been-
Gigi's
Yep. So
collection.
she's
Yeah.
Yep. So Big Frank is her grandson.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
So they'll
And tell
be in
people, because some people
collaboration.
like Jermaine immediately went, oh, the rapper. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, there are
Yes.
people that are
Mhm.
not familiar with Big Frank, so that's a rapper. Big
Yeah. He's
rapper.
a local rapper.
Okay.
And he just recently went viral with Christopher D'Angelo Gilbert in
yeah.
promoting the Milwaukee Public Library.
Was that him dancing?
No, that was Christopher dancing.
That was Christopher
Yep,
dancing.
but that was
Okay.
Big Frank's song.
Right.
Oh, okay, because I love that.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
love that. Okay, and that jacket that dude had on in the video, I was like, I need to, like, now when I walk
Right.
drive by the King Library, I
You
look
look
for
it,
him.
right.
So silly, but I look for him to come dance by me at the light. But okay, so from Gigi's Collections,
We have
And-
Basha Spencer.
okay.
We have Lee Van Roundtree.
Oh, I'm familiar with Lee Van.
We have Camry Robinson.
Okay.
She's a stylist.
Okay.
Then we have CLX Fashions,
Okay.
her Natasia. And then we have Erica Britton of JLX Fashion.
I love this. And somebody just
Mhm.
said, Michelle, it's the Medical College of Wisconsin, not Milwaukee. My bad. I just
We do have
messed
one
it up.
designer from Chicago.
Okay.
Mimi Brayboy, House of Michelle's Designs. So
Well, then I really need to know what
So
she's talking about.
a lot of the
House
designers
of
that
Michelle.
she's good. A lot of the designers that we selected were people that have kind of helped me along in my modeling.
Okay.
And so I wanted it to be people who were special to me as well, near and dear, especially Miss Gigi. Because when I first came back into the modeling game, Miss Gigi was like, "Girl, you better get this walk together, because that ain't it." You know what I mean?
And
So-
I worked with Miss Gigi for a long time. Because she used to have a shop. I don't know if she's still over there. She used to have a shop on
North
No,
Avenue.
she
So she's not over there
Okay,
anymore.
okay.
But yeah.
Yeah, I
she's
had bought
around.
like a lot of stuff from her.
Oh,
I
yeah.
liked her. Very eclectic style.
Yes.
And and number one, some of these names you're mentioning are people I know that design dresses for women that was going to the black party back in the day.
Oh,
Yes.
You know, it was
for
some people
sure.
got brick and mortars off doing them
Yes.
parties.
Right.
And so first of all, I love that connection of
Mhm.
local artists being able to, drive what people will see. And so now where is this being held? And am I gonna have like the full fashion experience?
are
Oh,
gonna have the
absolutely.
full fashion
Absolutely. From
experience, you
beginning
are.
to end, you will have the
Absolutely.
entire fashion experience. So
Okay.
there's several models, there's several designers. We have
It's
each
9
designer.
designers.
9 designers.
Each
Okay.
designer has their own cancer that they'll be representing with their designs.
Oh, really? A
Mhm.
different type of cancer.
Yes.
Oh,
So, like
that's
for instance,
unique.
my mom died from pancreatic cancer. So, pancreatic cancer, that ribbon is purple.
Okay.
So, one of the designers selected that, and then she's gonna create her line surrounding that color
Okay.
and what, like, kind of like what it means to her, like what her inspiration is. So, they do have full creative control over their segment.
Got it.
And
got
so
it.
if they want to do purple with leopard, that's fine. They're going to
Hey!
do purple with zebra or cheetah. That's fine. It's whatever their vision is, whatever they see. I want them to be able to display that.
So I just think this is such a cool thing to be able to mirror the interest. I love the play on words with the
Mhm.
common thread. But I think that the bigger cause of educating our community along the way. So will there be opportunities for education as people are taking in these clothes? And
Yes.
then somebody already hit me up and like, are any of these clothes gonna be for sale?
Yes,
Absolutely.
all
Always
of them.
for sale.
All of them are for sale.
Always
That's
for sale.
always the goal. The model's job is to sell the clothes.
Okay, okay.
So there is going to be a doctor. I don't have her name yet. I'm still working with the Medical College of Wisconsin. There is going to be a doctor there to come in. They're going to talk about
Do the information so
gonna
people
provide
understand.
information. Yes.
All right. So for folks that want to attend, let's get into some logistics. When is the event? Where is it being held? And how much does it cost to come through?
So the event is November 9th at the Clybourne,
Okay.
2202
I've
West
never been there.
Clybourne. It's
The
a
Clybourne.
beautiful space.
Okay.
Mhm. And I selected it because I didn't want people to struggle with parking.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
they have that whole they
You
can park.
familiar with the venue?
Yes, very good.
I've never
Mhm.
been there. Okay.
So yeah, that was kind of one of the things because I've attended a lot of fashion shows where people, you had to do too much just to try to get in there. I just didn't want that for people.
Okay.
I wanted people to be able to get in.
Okay. So the Clybourne. Now, what day is
Clybourne,
this?
November 9th.
Sunday.
So we got a little bit of
November 9th.
time, so you get
Yes.
plenty of notice to get it
Yep.
together. And this is a Sunday.
Yes.
It's a Sunday.
Oh, it's a
It's a
nice
Sunday.
Sunday outing.
I'm not long-winded. I'm not trying to hold people all evening. So VIP will start at 3. The show will start at 4. And I want y'all to be at home sitting down no later than 7.
Okay.
We've attended and been in fashion shows where it started at 4 and we didn't get out of there until 10 o'clock.
10,
Yeah.
11. So we're not doing
So,
that.
yeah, we're
not.
trying to make the most of everybody's time.
And so, for people that are interested in getting tickets, what should they do?
We are on Eventbrite. It's called Common Threads for Cancer Awareness Fashion Show. Where we have a Common Threads site on Facebook. We're everywhere. Instagram is all Common Threads for Cancer. So it's Common Threads, the number 4 cancer.
And so, just in terms of the dollars that are raised from this event, does that go back to help any of
It's going to go back to cancer research and
to
awareness.
cancer research?
Mhm.
You know what? So I'm gonna just say this real quick too. I remember when we were going through COVID,
Mhm.
and they were talking about the clinical trials and how Black people didn't frequently volunteer for the clinical trials.
Mhm.
To be able to watch, I have another friend. She does stuff for LS, is it LLS, Leukemia Lymphoma Society.
Okay.
LLS. I am so just always blown away and proud when I see members of our community figuring out how to support the research, how to
Mhm.
support the medical work that's being done in these arenas. So first of all, thank you for that, to be able to do that. But then you give me something fly to do in the process.
Mhm.
So I'm supporting and having fun doing that. Let me just ask this question real quick because somebody said, okay, I got you. Just somebody said real quick, the whole modeling industry, and you talked about acceptance.
Mhm.
For folks that are coming through cancer, varying treatments and stuff, one of the first things that people do is they get conscientious about their appearances
Sure.
Mhm.
and their looks and stuff. have you been able to even tap into that side of this whole thing? Will there, because somebody wanted to know, will there be any models that were previously impacted by cancer in the show?
Every single model has been impacted in some form or fashion.
Okay.
So when we did the model call, and so we had the sheet that they sign in, and that was one of the questions we asked: how have you been impacted? And I don't think there was not a single model
that hadn't been
that hadn't
impacted
been
or left that
impacted.
spot blank. Everybody had a story of how they had been impacted by cancer, whether it was directly
personally,
or
mhm.
indirectly. They know somebody, maybe they were a caregiver.
One of the models actually went through breast cancer. She's a breast
So
cancer
breast
survivor.
cancer survivor,
Mhm.
because that was one of the things that, and I love the questions. I love that
Mhm.
people are thinking this thing through, so you realize that this is a full circle moment.
Absolutely.
You want to say something, Denise?
No.
Oh well, ladies, let me just say this, because I'm a little pressed for time this morning.
No problem.
But I would love to be able to just have this conversation before November 9th to
Yes.
remind people that this is happening. I've lost two family members to cancer. In terms of immediate, my mom and my god brother, within 24 hours of each other.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah. And and I know other folks that are in this fight right now.
Mhm.
So this is something that our community certainly needs to be much more conscientious of.
Absolutely.
And people understanding, where help is, where the resources are, but early detection, getting to the
Yes.
doctor.
Yes.
We're gonna talk
Early
about all of
detection
that.
is key.
Mhm.
Yeah. So would you say we're gonna talk about
We're
all
gonna
that?
talk about all of that.
I love
And
it.
I
love
attended
it.
real quick. I'm sorry. I attended something a couple weeks ago, called "Cancer in Your DNA,"
Oh.
and we actually charted family members in cancer. It goes deeper. It's deep. So that was through the Medical College of Wisconsin. So
Okay.
I have hit them up, and I'm waiting for some response, because we need to talk about that, because is it in our DNA?
And I may actually reach out and see if I can get a segment on the show, and just tie it in, make it full
Mhm.
circle. So, ladies, do this for me. Remind people one more time before I go to break, where they can get information about this event. Say the name of the event again, the
Okay.
date, and where they can go to get information.
So the event is Common Threads for Cancer Awareness Fashion Show. It's going to be Sunday, November 9th at the Clybourne. You can reach us on Facebook at Common Threads, the number 4 cancer. We also do have an email, Common Threads, the number 4 cancer at gmail.com. And then the tickets are on Eventbrite at Common Threads for Cancer Awareness Fashion Show.
All right, anything go get a troublemaker hustler. You got anything else I need to know before you get out of here?
If anyone is inclined, we are still looking for sponsors.
Okay.
We can
Vendors.
be vendors. We can be reached by email or on all of our social media.
Good deal. This is a worthwhile cause, y'all. Let's make sure that we support these sisters and the work that they're trying to do, because ultimately, you never know how it will impact you when these dollars are going towards cancer research. Ladies, commendable work. Thank you so much. So
Thank you
proud.
for having
Hey,
us.
young
Thank you. I
sisters too.
appreciate it.
I like these babies up here. At least they look
Not
like
me.
it. You look like it. I'm gonna just say we look
Girl,
like
I
it.
am some.
But all right, y'all. What you say?
So
Hey,
I'm 5 people grandma.
look.
I am not.
Hey. And somebody had tell me a long time ago, just accept the compliment.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right, y'all. Let me take a quick break. Michelle Bryan, WNOV, 860 AM, 106.5 FM. I'll be right back. All right, family, welcome back to the show. As I was talking to the last guest, we know that we have all kinds of needs in our community and things that we try to address. I'm glad that we have this station as a platform to be able to do that. And to that end, about a week ago, we had a grandparent and an aunt of a young 15-year-old child whose life was taken here in the city of Milwaukee. She was a victim of a homicide, Azoria Jones. And we met with her grandmother, Lisa Golden, and talked about, first of all, just the trauma and the crisis that we are facing in our community with violence, but also the need to be able to respond to this. And I was actually contacted by some folks that had contact with the family and realized that the family was struggling at this point to be able to provide a funeral for this baby.
Yes.
And so, as a result of us talking and having a conversation, Ms. Golden agreed to come into the studio, and we had an opportunity to hear from her and her daughter at the time. And Ms. Golden is back with me because in between your last appearance, there's been a lot of work done to try to figure out how to funeralize Azoria, and that process is still underway. We are almost there,
Yes.
but we wanted to be able to update the community. And I told people to hold on because I needed to figure out what the family needed before people, reached out to say, how can I be of help? So first of all, let me say good morning. Hey, Miss Lisa, how you doing this morning?
Good morning.
And yeah, speak up. I know you
Good
got a soft
morning.
voice, but we got to make sure that they can hear you. So at this point, um, let me just ask, because I know that we are waiting now to get all of the last of the financial commitments taken care of and things for the repass for Azoria. But so we do have a location.
Yes, we do.
You are working with Serenity Funeral Home,
Correct.
and we do have the location for the church.
Yes, correct.
So the first half of the hurdle in terms of providing for the casket for this baby and the funeral service director's cost, we've got that taken care of.
Correct.
Okay, so
Thank you,
now,
God.
yes, ma'am. And to the folks that were listening and paying attention and reached out and responded, I'm not going to call people's names at this point in terms of the thank yous. Right now, we're just still trying to get this done.
Yes.
But there have been some amazing people that stepped up to help with that leg of it, which was nearly almost $4,000. And now we have to take care of the cemetery. And for folks that have done this, what we're talking about. But for other folks, the plot had to be purchased, the container to hold the casket, opening and closing of that grave site. And so those expenses running about $3,100
Yes.
to be able to do this. And so we've already received some donations towards that, but we got to get to this finish line because right now the funeral is scheduled for
The 16th
the
and the
6th,
17th.
16th and the 17th.
Right.
And, and I told somebody the education that I've been getting during this process, because when I talked to you and you said, Michelle, the 16th and the 17th, and I was like, what you mean the 16th and the 17th? Can you take a minute and explain that to people?
Well, due to
The way in which she died.
the way she died, they're not having funerals at the same time no more. I think that's to keep it safe.
So they won't do the burial and the funeral on the
together.
same day.
So I have to go back a second time, which is hard.
That is crazy.
Very hard because I want it to be over with.
Right.
But that's how it is. I mean,
And I literally had mentioned that to some other people because I had never heard that. I did not know that if you have a family member that died, can you get some? Oh, I got some right here. If you have a family member, there you go, that is the victim of a homicide or a violent death, that now cemeteries are moving away from doing the burial on the same day as the funeral service to avoid retaliation, drama, that kind of thing. So That was an education within itself. But the other thing, and the reason why this was so important, because you had said something that just when we talked, it just did something to me. You have suffered a number of losses leading
Yeah.
up to Azaria's passing and or
And I'm
death,
still suffering from all that.
but the fact that you had said that because of your family's financial situation, you've had to cremate the last 3 family members.
The last 2.
Last
and I
2.
didn't want to.
Right, and that's right, because I remember your son, and I remember your daughter. The way she put it, it just was so. It just touched something when she was like, and I hate to repeat it, but for people that didn't hear that show, she just said, "We just can't burn another family member." For that whole piece of talking about cremation,
Yes.
and so it was just important for you all to figure out a way to be able to put this child away,
Right.
and to have had such a life that was so short that this is a child cut down before you can even do whatever the plan was, the talents were. So how have you felt up until this point, at least in terms of moving through this?
I don't.
So family, look, at this point, and I'm doing more to talking.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay, Ms. Gold.
Yeah, I thought I would be able to
look,
say some things, guys, but this hurt. It hurts. I'm not taking this. I just buried. It's like I keep waking up and I'm just waking up to burials. So this is not good for me. I'm trying to help my baby.
Well, we are going to do what we can. I do see we have some callers. So look, family, this is okay. So this is what I am saying. So the funeral is now scheduled for October 16th. And we are on the last leg of, raising dollars to be able to help out with the casket. I'm sorry, with the cemetery and that aspect of the burial. We've had individuals that have offered to pay for the baby's clothing to be buried in. I have been reaching out to different church groups and folks at different churches that I know, and individuals saying, hey, can I get 2 pans of chicken? Can I get, 2 pans of green beans? Can I get this? Can I get that? So that they can have food for the repast. And people have been responding, but we haven't, gotten everything we need. So whether it's a case of water or a couple of cases of soda, if it's a cake, that I'm going to help try to gather these things to make sure that the family has that. I made 3 phone calls yesterday to make sure that we have flowers. And the first phone call, I called the person and I said, I need some flowers for this. And she said, do you have the casket spray? Because I didn't realize, again, in all of this stuff, and even in doing my mother was cremated and because of COVID. And my brother's stuff, the only thing I did was, had to order the casket. So it's a lot of stuff I still hadn't done. And when she was like, the casket spray. And I was like, okay, I went online and I looked at some of the prices on these things and I'm like, whoa. And without hesitation, without fail, she said, I got the casket spray.
I know.
And then I called somebody else and they said, I got the other flower. Somebody else said, I got this flower. Jermaine did exactly what he told people he was going to do. So we'll be making an appointment to get that dollars over to Graceland. But community, I am asking, and I know I ask y'all for a lot, and I know y'all get sick of me, but I could not imagine nobody, adult or child, should die in the way that Azaria died. But for it to be a baby and the family not have the means, and we'll have that conversation later about making sure we put ourselves in position to the extent that we can, that we have, even if we got one of these little small colonial policies, $7,000, something to be able to go towards this. But there are times when life just whoops your behind and you get caught And I think that all of us have had a moment, at least many of us, that if it had happened on that day, I wouldn't have been ready. I'm good now. I got insurance now. I got a policy now. I got this, I got that. But if you had caught me on that day, and unfortunately, that's the day people end up, the day you let your car insurance lapse is the next day you had a car, you had an accident. They asked you, did you want the gap insurance coverage on your car? And you said, no, I'm good. I don't have accidents. You have one. And now you're in trouble and you're paying for a car you don't even own anymore. So, there's plenty of time for people to question, well, what did they do or didn't do to be prepared for a moment like this? But when you talk about 2 and 3 funerals back to back,
Five.
So,
It broke
like
me down to the capacity of, what my life is, everything.
It makes you question it all.
Then if you ask somebody for something, I feel I never had to ask, but now it hurt because of where I was, and now I'm here, and that's to bury people. And people also know that that's a lot of money, and they're not putting your babies in the grave. Like my baby almost sitting up there a month. She's been in there 3 weeks. I had a child I just buried, sat in there for 4 months. It's not like that no more.
Your other child sat for 4 months before
in that funeral business. 4 months till I could bury him. Come on. It's not.
I think that when we had the conversation and I was asking the questions, like I said, y'all, when I tell y'all this has been an education for me, because like you realize, this is the moments that you think about a Michelle Pitts and you think about these folks at these funeral homes, who are able to show some deference and grace and cut corners where they can cut corners to make sure our folks get buried. That's why I tell folks when it's my time, it will be somebody Black that's handling me. Because I know what these people have done for our community. And so we are going to, and I had some people hit me up and they said, hey, we got, Debony said, I'm making desserts. And some other people I had reached out to about chicken and dinner rolls. They was like, yeah, we got that. And 2 large pans of spaghetti. And, so we gonna piece it together and get it done. Teresa, I saw your text message. So I will tell people that if you'd like to help this family, and I'm telling people, I don't care if it's $5, because on one hand, $3,000 is not a lot of money, but it's a lot of money when you don't have no money. Every penny that is collected will go to make sure that this baby is buried. Like I said, Jermaine had made a commitment, and he said, Michelle, he said it when she was in studio, I got $500 on it, and Jermaine put $500 on it immediately.
Thank you, Jermaine.
Immediately.
Thank you.
And I talked to my colleague Keith Paris, and Keith is like, Michelle, order the pans of chicken. I will do, I will help in that way. So people have responded. So first of all, as I always say to this community, how much I appreciate y'all. I know I lean on y'all. I lean on y'all a lot, but I just know that all of us together doing just a little bit can get things like this done. And we got to get this child taken care of. And I think about my own son. I couldn't imagine my son sitting and waiting for 3 weeks, yet alone 4 months, before you could finally.
But that only happened because I was burying my grandson. My son died 2 days later. So it's been a back-to-back thing for me. Like, that's all I'm doing. Like,
I mean, and it's a miracle you're standing, but you have to lean on the community. And so I just wanted to tell people, I promised you I would give you an update, and we would circle back and let people know what is needed and what we're doing to a couple of the churches that I reached out to. And like I said, I didn't ask anybody for anything other than like some food. Didn't ask them for no money, in terms of the repack. Just if you can just buy some soda and some water. If you can just do this, just do that. Because I know sometimes that's a lot easier when you got to ask people for help. And I know you weren't trying to ask people for help. Right. People made sure that I knew about your situation. And these were other folks in the community who said, Michelle, if there's anything y'all can do. So we gonna get Azaria taken care of. We gonna get her taken care of. Because all I know, I got just one child. And if I was gone, I would hope somebody would step up for my baby. That's all I can say. I don't have a big family. I know what it means to be out here and be by yourself. I know what it means to have strangers step in and fill in the gap. And community, you know, I try not to ask a lot, but it's just some stuff we gotta do, y'all. We gotta take care of this little girl. Is there anything else that the community needs to know, or anything you want to say before we wrap the show?
Just pray for me and my family, please. And thank you guys very much.
All right, y'all. So with that, I am going to wrap the show for today. We will keep a running list of the donations. Y'all know I am a good steward. We don't play. That's why I tell people wait until we could, get everything in order. I knew exactly what kind, because we're not gonna over raise. We're gonna do what we got to do to take care of this baby and get her situated, and make sure that this family can break bread. To commemorate her life and celebrate her life, and so give me a couple more days as people are reaching out. Ms. Lisa, but we talk, every other day, every day. And we'll make sure that everything is being taken straight over to Graceland.
Thank you.
On your behalf. She set it up. She said, Michelle, all you got to do is just get it over there, drop it off directly. And I just want to tell people, because the family has not asked for $1 directly. Everything that I said, let me figure it out. Let me see what's going on. They've had me on the phone with the funeral home, with everybody that we needed to connect to. And they said, we don't have to touch nothing. If you give it directly to the facilities,
Yes, ma'am.
we are good.
Yes.
So I just want to make sure we said it on the air so everybody understands.
Yes.
Miss Golden, I can't imagine. Miss Lisa, as I have become accustomed to saying now, I can't imagine. But I'm just glad that we got folks that were willing to figure out if they could help.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, family. So with that, I'm going to wrap the show for today. As I said, I don't have a big family. And my mother's gone. And, it's a small little set. When I say this community has stepped up to be family in a way, Lena had said just yesterday, you make your family circle, you pick your clique. Y'all have stepped up in huge ways to look out for me and the people that I care about and the causes that I champion. And y'all have no idea how much it means to me that you trust me to be able to help our community. So with that being said, that's the show for the day. Ms. Lisa, stop crying. You're gonna have everybody else crying.
I'm not trying. I came in here prepared not
to the bros that was on the couch this morning. Yeah, that's how I felt. But hopefully y'all talked it through, and everybody gonna be all right up in this camp.
We went back and hugged one another and worked it out. We good now. We needed that.
Look, you see, we got it. You see, I'm glad you smiling because I was in here dying this morning. I'm glad you smiling.
That's Miss Goldie.
Yeah, it's something wrong with them. They touch.
Michelle, I call her Goldie.
You call her Goldie?
That's Goldie.
My name.
That's a nickname? All right. Well, look, we're going to get out of the way. This is my day to end early.
Thank you.
Family, I'll give y'all updates tomorrow where we are towards this goal. But community, as always, I appreciate y'all. I'll talk to y'all tomorrow. Thank you, Miss Lisa. That's the